time to start this show. I hope you've taken your pants off and gotten real comfortable. Maybe you replaced your pants with some comfy socks. I don't know. It's cold. It's fall. If you're watching this and it's not fall, maybe that's because you're watching it later on YouTube where I upload everything. And if you are watching it on YouTube later and you haven't yet come to take part in the live chat, just like my good friend Babyweight and Dizzy Miso and Joey Headset, then what are you waiting for? You are officially invited to come on down. I haven't even said the name of the show yet. Cat Calls, everybody. It's another edition of Cat Calls, and I am your host, Cat Bine, and I do this show most Thursdays here on my channel. Hank Thoreau is in the building. I mean, I don't really know why you wouldn't already be on the show every day. Twitch.tv/CatBine. That is what it is. And today's guest. We have to go ahead and give a big round of applause to today's guest. I'm very excited to catch up with this one. Big round of applause for Lubelski, everybody. Yes. Oh my goodness. I know. Can you believe it? Can you believe it, people? I can hardly contain myself, quite obviously. I have never actually had the pleasure of interviewing Lubelski, but did I say Lubelski before? Did I actually say Lubelski? It's pretty cool that Lubelski's name sounds a bit like Lebowski, but that's not why he's on the show today. I've never actually gotten to interview Lubelski before, but I have known this modular synth monster for years because before he was just like making his way downtown, walking fast, faces passing, I don't know what I'm saying. Before he was making waves with his own DJ sets and productions, he was working as a publicist and helping support other artists on their journey, including but not limited to Lee Burridge, fellow Cat Calls guest Justin J, all the people over at Desert Hearts and the Dirty Bird crew, and I actually first caught him behind the decks at a Desert Hearts. I don't entirely remember what year it was, probably 2018 if I had to venture to guess. I bet you Lubelski remembers, because that was a really big moment for me. I was just like absolutely losing my mind on the dance floor, screaming, ID, ID. But I think it was a big moment for Lubelski because soon after that, he decided to quit his day job, as far as I know, and really bet on himself and his art. And it is a bet that has absolutely paid off. He's gone on to release EPs and singles and whole albums with the Desert Hearts crew that we were just talking about and Dirty Bird. In case he's actually got an album out on Dirty Bird right now called Happy Accidents, and we're gonna jam out to one of the lead singles for that LP. It's called Ice Cream, and it features Claude VonStroke, who is of course the Dirty Bird dad father of the whole crew, as well as vocals from Life on Planets. It's very funky, it's very sexy, it's full of innuendos, and also ice cream. Pigeons are dirty birds? Yes, pigeons are dirty birds, Joey. You are correct. No pigeons in this music video, unfortunately, unless, you know, sometimes people call women pigeons. I think it was like big in the Nelly Country Grammar era. Anyway, I've talked enough. They filmed a really fun music video for Ice Cream, so we're gonna check it out, and when we come back, I will have Lubelski on the line, so come through with your questions, okay? It's your show as much as it's my show. Here we go.
So let me get a taste and put my tongue all over you.
Welcome, Lubelski's in the building. Wah, 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 wah. He's not wearing any pants.
No pants, just socks.
But are they comfy socks? Are they keeping your feet warm?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah, I think that's what socks are for, so I'd hope so.
It's true, it's true. I like how for a second there it felt like you might go to war with your socks, though. You were like, are they? Like, fuck these socks.
Kind of basic socks, just non-brand, you know?
That's fine, it's better that way.
Pants for your feet, as Joey says.
Not sponsored, yes. Pants for your feet, absolutely. We were just watching the Ice Cream video. You scream, I scream, we all scream for ice cream. And I'm particularly...
Aren't we?
Scream, hoot, holler, dance, take your pants off for ice cream. That's what we do. But
yeah, taking your pants off was like, in a general sense, kind of the goal of the video.
It honestly,
you take your pants off and dance.
It's like if you listen to the lyrics, you might pick up that they're not actually talking about ice cream in this song. It's all a euphemism for something more adult.
You know, I don't care what anyone else says about you, Kat. You're actually really smart.
I am. I can pick up on hints. You know, it took me a few lines before I really got it, you know, but I caught on before the song ended.
Oh,
so.
It's all sexual innuendo. Very nice.
I was asking in the chat what everybody's favorite flavor of ice cream is. Do you have a favorite flavor? And is it actually a euphemism for something else?
You know what? It varies. I like to go with the unconventional. Really big on this vegan ice cream shop down the street. They have existential bread.
I missed you. Did you just say vegan French bread ice cream? You spazzed on me a little bit.
Vegan artisanal ice cream. There's existential dread charcoal.
Shut up!
I live alone in my apartment with my cat, fig and goat cheese.
This is incredible.
I wish that was true. I would honestly just go for like butterscotch diabetes explosion or something.
Oh my God, wait, stop. Are these real ice cream flavors or are you fucking with me?
I'm fucking around. I love green tea ice cream. I like chocolate ice cream and I like mango sorbet.
Listen.
It's really ice cream, but you know.
I just have to say, I know that, you know, we had a practice call a few hours ago and you told me about this tendency you have to pitch restaurants to strangers at parties. Man, you really got to open this ice cream shop. Like, please open Existential Dread, the ice creamery. Like, oh no. Because those were all really fabulous that you just wrapped them off of your head. Am I clear? I felt like for a second I was losing you there. Can you hear me?
You're clear. You're clear. You know, it might be my internet, so I'm actually going to pause what's going on Twitch. Is this a little better?
That's it. So far, so good, I think. Yeah. I'm not surprised, though, that you like immediately dug into a nice heaping scoop of existentialism because I heard that you're a really big fan of like Camus and Sartre and Vonnegut.
Sartre?
Is that how you say it? Listen, I'm an idiot.
Jean-Paul Sartre. Yeah.
Oh, wow. My boyfriend's French. I have no fucking excuse.
Oh, man. Do not say that to him. Be like, yeah, this is over.
I say all kinds of terrible things. Listen, it goes both ways, okay? Because he says things in English in terrible, silly ways as well. So not one of us is better than the other.
He's foreign. He doesn't get a pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he gets the pass.
Yeah, it's like, I guess it's pretty cool that you're French. Like, whatever. Yeah. But why would you... Half the fun of having a gauche American girlfriend is that she says things like Sartre in public and, you know, you just get to roll your eyes. Anywho, that is not here nor there.
I do love existentialist philosophy and stuff like that.
That's so cool. I have to say, the only Camus I've ever read is The Stranger, and mostly because of that song by The Cure. I was like super into The Cure in high school, and they have literally an entire song about that book called The Stranger.
Yeah, makes sense.
What would you recommend I check out to educate myself a little bit more on the existentialist world of literature?
Well, if you just want to know, like, really what existentialism is, I would recommend reading Jean-Paul Sartre's Defense of Existentialism. It's an essay he wrote.
Okay.
Basically a transcribed speech he did, or a lecture, and it's just a defense of existentialism. It provides what existentialism is and why it's actually a lot more optimistic than people give it credit for. And This is also during a time where, you know, Christianity was really, really big. Like
bigger than it is now, even before the Beatles.
Yeah, bigger than guns, bigger than cigarettes.
Wow, because that's what our country's really based on these days.
Jesus, guns, and cigarettes.
Yeah.
I would, recommend Defense of Existentialism by Jean-Paul Sartre. It's a really good one to just kind of get you going. But if you're more of like the anecdotal kind of fictional side of it, you can read Jean-Paul Sartre's Nausea. You can also dive kind of deeper into existentialism with the nihilistic route with like Metamorphosis,
right?
Like Kafka, if you've ever read that one. But that one's pretty dark. It's about a guy whose life sucks, and then he wakes up one morning and he's a cockroach.
Right. Yeah. It's so funny that you bring that up because I swear to God, someone was just coming up with a roach flavor. Oh, Rocky Roach ice cream flavor.
Rocky Roach. Wow.
Somehow,
The story is pretty optimistic despite how dark it is, but Rocky Roach does sound like a flavor they'd serve in it.
it does it's Kafka-esque.
All right, so someone says, are there any female existentialist writers? There are. Simone de Beauvoir is a big one. She came up in the same time as like Camus and Sartre in just kind of that French, like...
It sounds so French, honestly. Yeah. Like, honestly, I hear an existentialist diatribe every time my boyfriend is like in a mood. So this makes sense.
Very French. It's very French and honestly, like kind of very Jewish as well these days, post-Holocaust. You know, after that, a lot of Jews started going towards existentialism because, like, why would God let this happen? But, but besides going too dark here.
Oh man, we have dug so deep in like the first 5 minutes. I love
this. A conversation about music, right?
I mean, I guess so. Well, here, let's flip it. Do your existentialist readings and your existentialist perspective play into your approach to music? Like, I love that you're covering the brand of your bubbly water too. I love it. I love it.
If they want their brand in it, they got to pay me.
Pay for it. They can pay for it. Damn it. Anyway, do you like apply your existentialist perspective to the art of creation? Is there an air of like, well, nothing really matters, so there's no such thing as a mistake? They're all just happy accidents.
Okay, I just want to say one thing real quick. Existentialism isn't that nothing matters.
Okay, correct me. School my ass.
It's that there is no God, so it's and that the only thing that really matters, is what we say, our actions, self accountability, and responsibility to each other as a society. So it's not that nothing matters; it's that everything matters in the reality that we are living in.
That makes sense. It's not about a person in the sky or somewhere judging your actions. It's about your neighbor and your loved ones and everyone you meet day to day. Those are the ones in the judgments that matter. That makes sense. I'm an existentialist. Sign me up, bro.
Yeah, there you go. So it does matter. And I would say that it does have an effect on my music. I just find that because I would even say I'm more of an absurdist than an existentialist.
Okay, I'm following you here too. Talk to me about the difference between absurdism.
Okay, so existentialism is just kind of like the flat line, like the baseline of the belief. And then there's all these kind of different sects of it, with Kafka and there you go, yes.
Yeah, as existentialists.
Kafka and Camus and Nietzsche and all those guys and writers and philosophers. But absurdism says that life is so absurd, it is just so bizarre and so random and so haphazard that the only thing there really is radical acceptance of what is happening.
Yeah.
So I would say that sort of falls in line with why I make the music that I make.
Okay.
That everything is so absurd that like these things exist. It's happening. It's happening, right? Happening. That's a new word. I'm going to use that. It's all happening.
It's all happening.
And I read fascinating at the same time as...
yes. It is a fascinating conversation. I'm so glad. I wrote down that you were interested in these things, and I was like, gosh, I'm just not really sure how I'm going to be able to work that into the conversation, and you made it so easy.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. Camus, being the absurdist that he is, it's like life is so random and bizarre that the only thing that we can say is, okay, this is what it is. Yeah. And there was a day where he was supposed to travel from one part of France to another. I can't remember the story's exact details. All I know is he had a train ticket and he was going to hop on the train. But then his friend was like, oh, don't take the train. Drive with me. I'll just take you there. I'm going there today. They die in a car accident on the way there.
What? Wait.
Yeah.
Is that how Camus died? Is that what you're telling me?
That's how Camus died, yeah.
Fuck. And that
being the absurdist that he is, he died in the most absolutely absurd and coincidental way. So it's yeah, and so that's an example of nothing happens for any reason at all. But it's not that it doesn't matter. It's just the only reasons that are the ones that you assign it. And so back to my original point is that everything is so bizarre and absurd techno exists.
Yeah, that's true.
House music exists, and it can be anything that you want it to be. There's just the possibilities of it are limitless. It's just such a broad ranging and diverse genre, and I feel like I have such an eclectic taste. I want to just put it all into one thing. If I was in a band, it's like 4 people trying to make one kind of sound or whatever, how many members are in it.
Having to compromise, really. Not being able to just go in every absurd direction that their heart desires in that moment. Yeah.
Because I can take from jazz, I can take from world music, I can take from all these other styles of music, obviously, and not just plagiarizing, obviously, but taking inspiration and building upon what is already there. Yeah, which I think is cool that I can just kind of grab and nitpick.
Absolutely. And you can do it so seemingly effortlessly because you have these wonderful machines that you just move some wires around and twist some knobs and the sounds continue to get weirder and stranger as they go.
Absolutely.
Before we dig into your modular mind, I want to talk about some of those inspirations that you just brought up. Specifically, I want to know what was going on with your incredible funky grandma that turned you on to Fatboy Slim and Moby and the Gorillas. Like, who turned grandma onto those things? Why is she so cool?
I don't know how she got. She was definitely the coolest one in our family. She was a psychotherapist. She did a lot of therapy for, convicts and death row inmates and stuff. My cat is about it.
Hi, cat.
You want to say hi, everybody?
Say hi. Oh, what's your cat's name?
Monkey Joe.
Monkey Joe. So absurd. I love it. Oh, kitty.
So yeah, grandma was a psychotherapist for death row inmates and that sort of thing. And she had her own issues, I guess. And she did ayahuasca in her kind of late 40s, mid 40s or something like that. And she was part of that circuit of therapists that were testing out psychedelics and MDMA.
What years was she doing this? I don't know how old your grandmother was, but was that maybe in the 70s? I always think of the 70s when people were doing that.
70s.
80s, maybe?
80s, 70s. My mom was born in 66, I believe. So it was sometime while my mom was alive. Wow. So I imagine the 70s and 80s. She was kind of doing that stuff. But she just always had a really interesting view on music. She just loved everything. She used to she was just a wild woman. She would always step into her house and she's like, all right, where's the vodka?
Yeah, really? That's awesome. Oh, and hi, Clearly Blurry. You're here just in time for this incredible story about Lubelski's amazing vodka drinking, ayahuasca brewing grandma.
So in the early 2000s, when that music was starting to get big, or late 90s even, she was just really into it. I think her kind of intro to it was Portishead and Faithless, and then she just got me these CDs, and I was lucky enough to have really love music. My mom showed me Outkast and Alicia Keys, and my dad was really big on just classic rock, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, The Who, Rolling Stones. And yeah. And I think just all this eclecticism made me want to dig even deeper.
Yes. Amazing. Well, it sounds like you came from a family of people who were ready to roll up their sleeves and dig through the crates. Because, we're talking about before Spotify, before YouTube, it was not quite so easy to get turned on to strange trip hop and electro funk. And, Outkast. Thankfully, Outkast got pretty popular there, but incredible lineup of artists. Are your family musical in the sense of making music, or they just to consume it?
No, they just consumed it. My dad could play a little guitar. I have an uncle that plays the drums, and he was in a band. I'm not sure it went anywhere, but I definitely come from a family of creatives. Yeah. Both my parents are in the fashion world. Ooh. My mom does home styling products and stuff like that, ceramics. My dad still does fashion. My little brother's a fashion designer.
Shout out! What's your little brother's fashion? Does he have his own label, or does he work with other designers?
It's called Samuel Zelig.
Samuel Zelig. All right, write that down, everybody. We're gonna go.
Yeah, I'll type it in. It's really cool stuff. I wear it all the time. Actually, my cat is sleeping on one of these hoodies. I would show you guys, but
wake up the cat. No.
he's just.
If you must wear pants, at least wear Samuel Zelig.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really cool stuff. Like he'll take like quilts from like the 1800s and repurpose them into these like kind of like fashion, like workwear fashion from like the 70s of like Japan and France or something like. So it looks like construction wear.
I love it.
Really high quality, really high construction of everything. You know, high quality materials.
Oh my gosh! I know the Casey Michael's like, can we interview Lubelski's whole family? Maybe we will have to one day. come to a house interview. Yeah. Well, tell me about how you yourself started getting into music. I believe that you first learned how to play guitar before you ever started diving into synthesizers. Were you ever in bands growing up?
I was, yeah. I mean, I told my dad I wanted to be a drummer when I was like 7.
And he was like, no, you're not. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, basically. He was just like, that, I don't have the patience to sit through 3 years.
True that, yeah.
Before you're like any good. So here's an acoustic guitar. And, you know, he just like got me playing songs by the Grateful Dead and Bob Dylan and trying to learn stuff by Led Zeppelin. Nice. And then I was just like kind of in bands through middle school where like we kind of traded off all the instruments and stuff. Like I'd play bass for a while or play guitar or jam on the drums and played some shows. And in high school, I didn't really do too many band things, but I started getting really involved in studio work.
Oh, how so?
My mom's boyfriend at the time was a studio producer, and I was lucky enough to work with a lot of like big hip hop acts. Like I got in the studio with Snoop Dogg and Radio Traffic and X2 and who else? What's his name? I know his artist name, D Ruff. He's like the son of one of the old Ruffman. I don't know. It's the Foundations or something like that. Old a cappella group.
Amazing.
Can't remember the name.
We're going to figure it out. Someone get on Google and figure that shit out. Find it.
D. Ruffman.
Okay, I just have to say, like, what a fascinating life. Who are you? What is happening?
Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of been through it, I guess.
That's what's up. Good for you. Fuck yeah.
So I was also lucky enough to have at my high school, they had a class that they offered 10th graders and up. It was called Audio Tech. And there was like 4 or 5 studios, very basic setups. And they just had, you know, Ableton, Logic, Pro Tools, and Reason kind of set up on these computers. And I came this close to not graduating high school because I kept ditching class to go work in these studios. And then, yeah.
Can't they see you're working? You're just making your own syllabus. It's fine. It worked out. I mean, look, now you're doing it professionally. So why are they mad?
Yeah. And yeah, I also went to college for it, I guess. I did electrical engineering and business management economics as majors. And I took a minor in electronic sound synthesis. And the studios that they had there was just tenfold of what I was used to in my own studios in high school. So just constantly doing it. But when I graduated with these degrees, I asked my friend Max for a job at Infamous because I didn't want to do electrical engineering.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, do you have a history of working with other artists in the studio like that in recent years? Are you somebody who does engineering for artists? But sounds like you took an escape route into publicity, PR.
Yeah. I just did PR as like kind of a temporary thing to like keep me afloat.
Yeah.
Chased it. And then it was finally got a booking agent, our friend Nat Turner. She picked me up and I quit my job. I was like, cool, I've got an agent now. And then
I know. So exciting.
That was it.
Okay, we fast forwarded a little bit, but that's just fine. I actually met you during that period when you were floating by working for Infamous, doing publicity for other artists. And interestingly,
I think I may have just quit. You met me like right when I stopped.
Maybe that's true, but that's not to say that I didn't have a lot of emails from you during the years before I met you face to face, because I definitely have those receipts in my inbox.
There you go.
For all the pitches. What do you take with you from your years working in that side of the industry? Did it afford you any sort of interesting lessons that stay with you now as an artist, or were there ways that you just kind of learned how the industry worked that would be worth sharing with folks? Yeah, or just fun stories from that time. You know, you must have met a lot of interesting artists and been producing scenes.
I'm very grateful for my time at Infamous, because like it gave me sort of this backstage brat mentality.
Love that. Okay, wait. Backstage brat is now... I'm going to like make bracelets that say that for people so they can just have that identity.
I was able to like just hang out backstage and just like meet all these artists, arrange interviews. I did a lot of like box office stuff, and I kind of did a lot of just the PR for the record labels. Mm-hmm. So I understand what a good campaign is supposed to look like, as terrible a publicist as I was. I still knew what needed to get done for it to be a good campaign. And I think the main thing I take from it, though, is definitely the follow-up email, how important that is for anything you do, really. If I'm going to sign music, how to follow up without being, annoying, but still persistent, which is a very subtle skill to acquire. I feel like. It's
true. But you're right to say that, because certainly sometimes people aren't just ignoring you. You're just kind of buried in this long list of things. And I know I personally have many moments where I just straight up ignore communication of all forms for a while, because the anxiety is just bubbling and building. And every time I see that I have an email or something, even if it's something I'm actually really excited about, sometimes things I'm excited about, I don't answer for a couple of days because I don't know, I have it all worked up in my head that I just can't.
Totally relate.
Right? Is that absurdism or what is that?
That's just general anxiety.
Okay, yeah. There's not like a cool, funky French book I can read about that one. I just have to face it myself.
Oh, yes. Actually, radical acceptance. That would be Camus for you.
There we go. So if you could boil down.
But I have a question for you. How many unread emails do you have in your inbox?
Currently?
Currently.
It's not so bad. It's not so bad, because I did recently just go through and check them. So I have a couple of email addresses now, but I only have like 30. It's really not bad.
That's impressive.
I know. It could be way fucking worse, and it was until... And here's the secret. I don't read all of them. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, and I pass them.
Just mark all as read.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, nah. It's the fucking Thor's hammer came down, and
I might do that right now. I have 9,900.
Fuck off! Come on.
Already, I can send you a screenshot right now.
I can't breathe. Just hearing that number is really
I mean, most of them are just like spam.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I pretty much delete spam as soon as it comes in and just get that bitch out of here. We don't have you. Taking things back to a place of sense, though, do you have like maybe a few points that you think makes a follow-up or an email like not shitty to read? Are there like points in a campaign that are key that you learned during your time as a publicist?
Yeah, I think when pitching anything, you want to make the person that you're pitching it to feel like they're important.
Yes. Yeah. If it's just a template email, I pretty much don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, if it's just like a basic newsletter thing, you're just like, hey, like this is what we have. Basic news. But if you're like, hey, I'll give you an example for anyone who makes music and wants to know how I send out demos.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, here's some music for you guys. I really love what you do.
Uh-oh.
I would love to be a part of it. Oh, do you hear that?
I
love
think
what
what you
guys are
said
doing with
was
the label. I would love to be a part of it.
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then here's some background information on me, but short and sweet, right? You don't want to overflow them with like, I started guitar when I was 7 years old because my father didn't want to get me a drum set. No one could care any less.
Yeah.
So it's just like, here's the music, here's the labels I previously signed with. I've gotten support from these artists. I would love to be a part of your label, because maybe they don't know who you are, and it's more often than not unsolicited. So if they don't get back to you, this is the key thing right here for the follow-up is, hey, I would love to get your thoughts on this before I sent it anywhere else.
Yes. I have that same line for if I'm pitching stories to an editor and they don't get back to me, because that's the truth. So you would recommend even sending one at a time? Yeah,
send it one at a time. Do not throw shit at all the walls at once and hope they stick everywhere.
Yeah.
Because what could be worse than you sending a track that you feel really great about and then sending it to 10 labels? You sign a contract with a smaller label that you maybe don't care about, and then the bigger label gets back to you 3 months later is like, we want this. And you're like, oh no, I've squandered my opportunity. Because
I know, because they're not going to be happy when they hear you say that you already signed it with somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, it still is good to get the conversation going, but
yeah.
I hate it when I get an email from some kid that's just sending me the music. This is the best music that you will hear this year.
Oh God, yeah.
It's just 10 other labels on CC. And I'm just like, it's impersonal.
It's very egotistical as well. Yeah.
Show some humility. Let us say if it's good or not. If you're asking for someone's opinion, I don't need you to tell me what I think of your music.
Yeah.
And it goes for anything. So
it's true. It's true.
So just be humble.
Baby Wait says she just annoys Lubelski with memes until he asks what she wants.
She annoys me with more than just memes.
I hope it's pictures of no pants. No, I'm just kidding. I hope it's not that.
But she did post on my Reddit AMA.
Oh my God, yes!
About like what I thought about like Marxist approaches to like making or producing music.
And you didn't love that?
I did.
Okay.
Just because I loved it doesn't mean it wasn't annoying. You know?
True. That's true. Many things that we love are actually very annoying to us at times. Yeah. So how was it that you reached this point? I guess you kind of already explained it because you said that Nat Turner signed you and so you felt like you could quit your job. But was there other more like esoteric things that happened to you along the way that helped you gain the confidence to say, I'm going to bet on myself and I'm ready. I'm ready as an artist?
This may come off as pretentious and egotistical, but I've always felt like it was the only thing I was ever going to do. Say it. There's definitely been milestones that I've crossed where I'm like, okay, like I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And just things that keep
reinforcing perhaps the vision, the confidence. Yeah.
Reinforcing that belief. Some of the things being, you know, getting in the good graces of Mikey from Desert Hearts, playing that festival, signing music with labels overseas like Audio Jack's Groove and on Elro, and kind of getting some support over there, and, you know, like Melee's Club Bad, getting the release on Crosstown. This recent album, Barkley asking me to do an album, you know, it's just like,
he asked you to do it too. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it came from me doing a show on their Twitch channel last year where I was like, I'm not going to just be another DJ in this.
I remember this. Yeah.
Modular live set. I'm like, you know, test this out on the Dirty Bird crowd. I feel like they're okay with it being a little weird and wonky.
Right. How did that set go? Obviously well. He asked you to make an album.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most of it was just me being kind of fed up with the way the music scene was anyway, so I wasn't taking it very seriously. I just had a drum machine, a modular rig, and a microphone, and I would just pretend to be like Jeff Goldblum talking on the microphone, like some weird, like not even housey house music. Yeah, and then, you know, almost 6 months after that, he's like, yo, I really liked what you did, and I'd love to ask you to do an album for us, and you can make it any way you want it.
That's so awesome. I love that sort of like radical support and yet creative reign. I get the sense that that crew and that family, that label, does like to push in a nice way the artists that they work with. Do you feel like they're like, do take one step further with that thing you were doing? Is that a sense you get working with Dirty Bird guys and gals?
Yeah, they're definitely very supportive. I love that. Like, if you sign a record with them and it does well, like they will put you on the shows.
Yeah,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
They love to support up and coming acts, and you know, Barclay's always been a tastemaker, and I find it so funny now that there's a lot of people that may say that like, oh, Dirty Bird's just of the same, or as it, you know what I mean? Like it's become like oversaturated. It's become such a staple and like a household name in house music that it's just like, oh, the Dirty Bird sound. And you know, I think Barclay recognizes that, and he always tries not to be stagnant in what he is, which, you know, not into my own horn, but I think that's why he asked me. So
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
I'm very grateful because like he's, you know, putting me on Camp Out. Like I just played a couple of shows with him last weekend in Boston and Philly. I was supposed to play in Atlanta with him this Saturday, but unfortunately he's taking a break. So it's just me in Atlanta.
Oh, well, good for you, but also good for him. I like to see someone who's recognizing their own limitations and realizes when it's time for rest, because that is key. And we all deserve a break. So capitalism can go fuck itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Why is tooting your own horn considered bad? Way preferable to going around tooting other people's horns. I guess if you don't have consent.
Yeah, consent is important. And the privacy of the location that you're doing it in.
That's true. Yes, no, please.
We're not talking about the same thing here?
No blasting. I want to hear more about Happy Accidents in particular. Happy Accidents is the name of your album that's out now on Dirty Bird, that album that Barclay, aka Claude, asked you to make. And you told me that you actually made it relatively quickly. Is that true?
I did. So I'll explain the process. Barclay basically asked me to do it in May, and I said, okay, this is what I'm going to need to do it, which was like a couple of modules and, you know, visual elements, like the stuff from Alex Pelly that we were going to do.
Yes,
and,
I definitely want to talk about that in a bit as well.
Yeah. So I was just like, this is what I'm going to need to make it happen. And then, you know, we got everything by early June. I bought the modules, and then it was about 6 to 7 weeks of live modular jams on my Twitch channel, about 2 to 3 hours each, all tracked live. So like I have all of the recordings in individual channels on Ableton. Right. And then once those 7 weeks were up, maybe it was like halfway through, I started going through those loops, and like I started developing this like little Discord community and like bouncing the loops and being like, which one of these should I finish?
Oh,
so
fun.
Collaborative with this little community I was building. And then it was like basically all realistically, when I first sat down to like write the music or dig through those loops and actually write the tracks, was like start of July to the end of August. Like, or no, not end of August, the beginning of August. My Maxfield, my manager, said, your deadline's August 1st. Get it done.
Love a deadline.
Yeah, it was roughly 3.5 weeks of being in the studio.
Wow.
Every day, besides the days that I was touring. It was like,
wow.
Don't talk to me. It's like 14, 16 hours in the studio. There was a couple of nights where I actually just like fell asleep in my chair there because I was trying to get it all done. I was like, I need to get this done. And it was a strain for sure. But August 1st came around and I had like something like 20 songs.
Wow.
Maybe more than that. There was definitely like 50 loops that I had started. And we narrowed it down to 12, and that became like 10. And we added a couple with, it was like the last track to get done was the one with me and Claude.
The ice cream, which brings us back to the beginning. Ice cream cone. Okay, well, because I did want to actually talk to you about that really fun video that y'all made. Where did you get an ice cream truck?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I left everything up to my managers to.
That's smart. That's smart. You already did the hard part, making the damn song.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, you handle it. But I mean, big shout out to J Mac from 2+2, who's Phil's manager, Life on Planet's manager, and Max, my manager, who threw it all together. I mean, like they just really killed it. I don't know what else to say other than
it's so great. It looks so fun. I love when Claude makes his little entrance and it's like Ice Cream Dad's gonna shut the party down, but he's won over in the end.
It's funny. We didn't know if we were gonna be able to get Claude involved, but it was like after camp out, like we were all hanging out. It was like me, him, and Phil, and he was like, I heard you guys are doing a music video. I want to be a part of it.
Oh,
yeah,
that's so
like,
fun.
I don't know how to get you involved if we only have you for like 30 minutes.
Yeah. You're just the kicker. You're the fun. Yeah. It looks like, did you guys actually have fun on the set? Did you have a little party? Yeah.
We had like a whole treatment for it. And then it was like, when we were out filming, we were just like, I was like, Phil, ghost ride the whip.
Yes. I know, you're basically doing donuts in the ice cream truck. Like,
yeah, it's so ridiculous.
Life goal I didn't know I had until then.
We did have a pizza party, and I tolerated gluten for it.
Oh, so. Okay. Are you usually gluten free? Was the ice cream on set vegan?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Did you eat it? Did you eat a lot of ice cream?
No, I didn't eat. I don't know what it tastes like. I forgot.
That's funny. We'll have to imagine. I'm sure it was delicious. I'm sure it tasted like. I
don't get off my own supply.
Smart man. Smart man. Smart man. I do want to ask you about those wonderful choreographed dance moves that you did. Who came up with the scoop? And
I don't really know. Just me and Phil were joking around at camp out, because it was like we did camp out. Like I flew him out to come sing the song with me on stage and to do this music video. And then we were just like messing around at camp out, and we're like, oh yeah, let me get another scoop. And it's like, all right, and we're gonna be driving an ice cream truck, put a scoop on the cone. It was just us being ridiculous. It was the day at camp out where Ardalan and I were going back to back in the artist lounge. It was like Sunday. Like
fun. Little secret set. Yeah.
Yeah. Small setup. They had like little CDJs and some like really small function one speakers that I've never seen before, but they like were really good.
Shit.
And we were just playing just like the weirdest daytime. Ardalan likes to call it salsa minimal disco.
Tasty.
Like, okay. And so like it was during that afternoon where we decided, where Phil and I were just messing around and doing the moves. So yeah, it was collaborative, I would say, between me and Phil.
I love it. And hello, Action Jackets. Good to see you. Action Jackets, no pants. As long as you have your action jacket on, you're still good. I'm sorry you cannot let go of the no pants.
And Joey headsets.
Exactly. We almost have a full outfit. We're ready to go outside, Mom. All right. I did want to, you already brought up Alex Pelly, which was the visual artist that you worked with, and I think it is fascinating. She works with modular rigs as well. Please tell me how this all works and how you were exposed to her work, and it seems to make sense that you'd work together.
So, originally, I was thinking of buying the visual modules myself and doing all the visuals myself, but I was like, with the time that I have, it's just too much. I'm already spread so thin.
Yeah.
And when I was researching those modules, we came across Alex Pelly. We came across like her demos of the modules I was going to buy. I'm like, why don't we just hit her up? She happened to be based in LA, and I was talking to her about it, and she kind of has the same process as I do. Happy accidents, just mess around until you find something you like. And so it felt like a really good pairing of us to just like have her do the visuals.
And those are the visuals that we see when we look at the songs on YouTube, right? There are these crazy layers of colors and whatnot. I guess I like never thought about that you could do that with visuals, and I was kind of.
How do you think they were made?
Huh?
How do you think they were made?
I guess I've just always thought they're like you do some sort of wizardry on your video editing program. I just don't know. So it's like I don't ask to see how the sausage is made. I just put it in my mouth. I don't know.
All right. Well, yeah. So she does everything analog, just like I did for this album, and she basically had to have the final masters of the songs to do it. And she only had like about a week to do it from her time. So she takes the songs, she separates the bands of frequencies, and has those triggers different elements of those visuals. As far as I could tell, that's how she does it.
Wow. So cool.
Really, so she just does it like as a run through. So she listens to the whole thing as she's tweaking it to make it work.
That's so rad. It's like a stream of consciousness creation.
Yeah, it's all very reactive to the song as well. It's super cool.
Which is perfect because that's like, it's almost like if you could see inside someone's brain when they're listening to the music and you know, the stories and the fun patterns you play in your brain. That's so cool. Shout out Alex. Everybody check out Alex on socials, see her work. Perhaps it'll spark some inspiration for someone out there who wants to get involved. What advice do you have for someone who's interested in modular gear but has never really fucked around with it? Like, any advice whatsoever? Should you just go in there and get your hands dirty? How did you do it?
You know, I'd say if you're going to go into it, just know that, like, you will burn a hole in your wallet. It's very pricey hobby. I'm still in debt from it.
Damn, yeah.
From buying a lot of gear. But I'd say buy with intent. Know what you want to do with it because it's so endless in its scope of possibilities that you can do with it. It's just like, you know, figure out what you want to do. I'm actually looking at the recommended channels right now. Colin Benders is online.
Ooh.
He's streaming. And he's an incredible live modular synthesis guy.
Ooh, amazing. I'll have to check him out.
But yeah, besides the point. Buy with intent. Know what you want to do with it. If you want to create sounds or if you want to process sounds, that's probably a good place to start. It's just, there's just so much that you can buy. So you're like, I want to process stuff. I want to make things sound cool with sounds that I already have. Or it's like, oh, I want to create new sounds. Modular is just a very haphazard, uncertain way of creating music.
Do you have favorite pieces of gear in your setup? Something that just
in my modular rack, or just in my gear in general?
In general.
I love the rig that I have. I want to get a whole nother setup. I want to get it bigger and better, more. But my favorite pieces at the moment, I'd have to say, are and this is a mouthful, is the Rossum Panharmonium Mutating Spectral Resynthesizer.
Wow, I like it just for its name.
I did too. And then I found out what it did, and I was like, I like it even more.
Wow, what does it do?
I wish I could tell you.
Yes, okay. You just have to find out for yourself.
That's what the name suggests.
Of course.
It's a resynthesizer.
Of course.
It takes an input of sound and it resynthesizes it. It resynthesizes the sound that you're inputting in. So if I put a vocal into it, I could technically resynthesize that vocal using 33 different oscillators with a cross-coded sine wave. And there's different parameters of it, like the timing of an analysis, the bandwidth of what frequency range that you are analyzing, the number of oscillators that's being used, the type of waveform that is using to resynthesize it. And you can change it as well. You can blend those things together, glide the notes, send feedback through it. I know this is a lot of jargon and esoteric.
No, it sounds super fun. I can see why it was easy for you to just spend 10 hours a day streaming and just exploring sounds. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It must have been harder, if anything, to just say, okay, this is kind of a 3-minute section that I think I could turn into a song and be done with it. Is there a lot of material on the cutting room floor that we might ever see again one day?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, there's 21 hours worth of audio.
Wow.
With 4 channels for those 21 hours. So roughly 48 hours of audio.
So you've got the next 10 years of your career set.
We'll see.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already going back through those sessions and being like, wow, this was an incredible idea. If only I had like 3 more weeks to finish this album.
Yeah, right.
It would have been on there. But I could technically write like 3 more albums with just that material.
Wow.
Which I might do. We'll see.
Do you think there's anything you learned about yourself during this process, kind of being pressure cookered to put an album out so quickly, or via just this process of creation where you were kind of collaborating with a community online, or something personal? I don't know. It seems like it was quite a feat.
I'd say that if I truly wanted to be a vampire, I really could do it.
Hell yeah.
I could just go days with never seeing the sunlight ever again. Maybe years even.
Wow. That's hard to do, so that is interesting to learn about oneself.
I wouldn't say I'd recommend it. It was definitely a strain on my mental health. The stress of having to do it. The one thing I did realize is like I really do, as a person, personally, I need my balance. I need my routine, and I need not that I have one ever.
But deep down, it's like I feel the same way. I'm always like, gosh, one of these days I'm just going to get up nice and early and have a morning, and I'll journal, and maybe I'll go for a walk, and it's like, keep dreaming, buddy. No, not going to happen. They say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. Not damn zinger.
But I love to wake up now and just like go for a climb, and then go to my studio, and then so I do have a bit of a routine, but it's really it revolves around my sleeping schedule, which is variant as the tour dates keep coming in.
Gotta say, for sure. What's going on in your tour life? What's upcoming? You're going to Atlanta this Saturday. What other things are you working on? What other projects are you working on?
Well, I got Fresno next Friday after Thanksgiving. My first headlining gig at Sound Nightclub.
Ooh, fuck yeah.
So excited.
That is great. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, really excited for Sound. And what else do I have? Doing a little West Coast tour as well. Following Thanksgiving, I'll be going back to my college town of Santa Cruz. I'll be hitting San Jose and San Francisco. I also have a few others on there. El Paso, Reno, San Diego. Off the top of my head, Salt Lake City, Seattle. There's a few more. You just got to go to my website.
You just got to go, yeah. When are you coming to San Fran?
December 3rd.
Ooh, well, I live up this way, so maybe I'll come say hello.
Perfect.
Do you ever perform stuff live with your synths?
Like live Roger stuff? I haven't yet. Not since, the Twitch channel stuff. But it's something I'm definitely thinking about. It's just with the whole modular stuff, and also the idea of the happy accidents, is that yes, there are happy accidents where you find, yes, that is great. I love that.
Right.
But then with that, not everything is good.
Of course.
There'll be times where I'm like, oh, this is so good. And I jam on that loop for 20 minutes before I change it. I'm like, okay, now time for the next idea. Cause I'm just like, oh, I'm feeling it or whatever. But then the next thing I change it to, I'm like, this is crap.
Yeah.
So I need to find a way to recall, sequences or sounds or ideas back, where I'm like, I can have at least something prepared, where if something is not clicking, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just load this sequence that I have in a preset and it'll be good. It'll sound new because it'll be like a new sound, but still. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You'll get there. It's coming. I can sense it.
Yeah.
All of these moments have just led to the reinforcement of what will one day be an incredible live Lubelski modular get down.
Exactly. I mean, I have also been thinking about doing something that's like a live band thing, you know, sort of like a
take it back to your roots. Yes.
Yeah. Find a way to make that work, but for now, just keep on trucking, doing what I'm doing, and maybe find other avenues of creativity.
Yes. Well, please do keep on trucking. I'm so happy to have had you on the show. We are about at our hour, so just like that, it happens.
It's like that.
But congratulations on Happy Accidents. It literally just came out on Friday.
Yes. It's not even a week old.
Oh my God.
As far as the release goes, yeah.
I know, right? You're like, I finished it in August.
Yeah.
But now it's finally out, and you're sharing it with the world. Casey Michael says, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. On the way out, we're going to listen to Asylum. I definitely love that one. It's the first real track on the song, other than that really fun, adorable intro that you made, which I love, which sets you up for the whole concept of the album. You're just like, oh, that sounds cool.
Oh, whoa.
That's good. Any particular story around Asylum or anything to share?
I had finished most of the album, and I sent it to Barclay maybe just before my deadline. I'm like, how's this sound? I'm about to turn this all in. And he's like, it's not weird enough. And I'm like, great. And I thought it was pretty weird, but most of the tracks were pretty deep because obviously I was a vampire and I was just being...
Right. You hadn't seen the sun in days, weeks.
Yeah. And he's like, you should go a little weirder. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to just dive back into these jams. And I found this jam that I was like, just going crazy on one of the synths. I'm like, this is perfect.
Yes.
I could do something out of this. And it's mutating and it's very synthy. And yeah, just put a drum beat behind it and chop it up a little bit. And it was done. It was like one of the last songs that got done. And it became like, I thought like kind of the perfect embodiment of the album.
Yeah. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Sometimes you just need that last push.
Yeah.
Well, Lubelski, any final thoughts, any final philosophies to share with the crowd before I let you go about your busy day?
Nothing matters. Everything is dog water. Give up. Whatever your dream is, it's not going to happen for you. And just do the opposite of everything I just said.
Exactly. And don't listen to assholes on the internet.
Don't listen to assholes like me on the internet. And toot your own horn if you want to, and radically accept existence. And shaka mahalo, rukule, hang loose. Peace, love, and happiness.
Fuck yeah. Best sign off ever. Thank you so much. All right. I can't wait to see you out here on the road. I'm definitely going to come say hello. I don't have any plans December 3rd.
Okay.
So.
Well, I will keep you updated.
Yay! All right.
Nat Turner and Bruja and Nate Wait will all be playing that show.
Oh,
and,
sweet.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't heard Happy Accidents yet, please go check it out. And tell me what you think, whether it's good or bad.
Yes.
And to come to one of my shows.
Yes, absolutely. That's your homework, everybody. And watch the visuals, because Alex did a really great job with those visuals, too. But stream it on Spotify and stream it on everywhere and get all that money. And just give your money to Lubelski. Just like, you see him in the street, just pay the man.
My PayPal is lubelskimusic@gmail.com. Hit me.
Hit it up.
My bank account is open and willing to receive.
Oh my god, okay, amazing. I think that's the best. I don't think we can top it.
All right. Thanks,
Bye.
Kat.